106 FM. קול הקמפוס 106 FM, סטודנטים ברדיו החינוכי של בית הספר לתקשורת, המכללה למינהל וקול ישראל.
אתה מרגיש עייף, העיניים שלך נעצמות. כשאני אספור עד 3, אתה תהיה ברגיעה מוחלטת. 1, 2, לילה רע לכולם, אנחנו פה בהיפנוזה, אני עם ברק חיון פה, שלום ברק.
מה המצב אלינור? לילה רע?
לילה רע ביותר, אנחנו פה עם אורח מיוחד ביותר שהגיע לנו מאנגליה. Hello Merv.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. You can get to the microphone a bit closer, get in touch with it. Don't get with the oral complex.
How's that?
That's great.
Okay.
So,
מה נשמע?
Sorry.
מה נשמע? How you doing?
מה
I'm
נשמע?
good. Yeah, really good.
Yeah? How much time are you here now?
I've been here a week already and here for another couple of weeks.
And it's
Quite a short visit this time.
it's not your first time then.
No, it's been a few times now.
And you like Israel.
I love Israel, yeah. Love it.
Okay, so let's do like a 60-second introduction for the people who don't know you, which is a shame. Your full name?
Merv Pepler,
Okay, where did you come from?
Southwest England.
Okay, and when did you start practicing music?
I actually started doing music in 1977, which was...
A long time ago.
11 years old I was, yeah.
And
Which
which
was,
instrument?
Punk. It was
Yes,
drums. I was playing drums in a punk band
When you were 11?
when I was 11, yeah.
Wow.
And then early 80s I sort of got into sort of Gary Newman, Tubeway Army and...
New Wave music?
With like
Yeah,
black pencil underneath your eyes and
I
the
did have
suits and
yeah,
stuff like that?
Yeah, I did have a phase of that, yeah. And then really I was always doing sort of quite aggressive music, and then I bumped into a friend of mine who had a synthesizer, and that was it really. That converted me to electronic stuff, you know.
And then Osric Tentacles, right?
Osric Tentacles, yeah, I was drumming
What year
for them.
was that?
That was 87 I joined Osric's.
Okay.
And how such a meeting comes? Like you meet them at a pub and then you say, "Hey,
No,
you look
actually,
cool," and that's-
I was actually buying their albums, and the guy who was selling he had a whole psychedelic, loads of different psychedelic albums, and I really latched onto the Osric stuff. And then he told me they were looking for a drummer, so
Okay.
I auditioned, and I already knew all their songs, so I got into the band really.
Nice.
Wow.
And through them, the keyboardist of the Osric Tentacles, Jonathan Hinton, that's who I formed a duo to make Eat Static stuff.
And when was that? When was Eat Static from?
88 Eat Static was
We
formed.
listened to the first tune of Eat Static,
That
right?
was from 88. That was
Alright.
a long time ago, 18 years ago.
And then when did you still stayed for a few years with Osric Tentacles playing?
Yeah, we were doing both bands, but it was just getting crazy. There was
Too much?
We'd go off doing an Osric tour, and even on days off on an Osric tour, we'd be doing Eat Static gigs, and it was just exhausting. I couldn't do it all, you know.
And then you both left Osric Tentacles and you...
So we both decided to leave Osric's just because, you know, the Osric Tentacles music. It could have been anyone else really, you know. They just needed a drummer and a keyboard player. Eat Static kind of had a lot more because of all the dance scene taking off. It was like had more interesting possibilities.
Isn't it like also a bit more fun, maybe with just two people and not many people? Is it hard to work with so many people on songs? Do you get a vote like in what kind of
really.
music will be,
No.
or?
I wouldn't say that because Osric Tentacles, we were all really on the same wavelength. It was more, you know, we wanted to go really just all electronic, and they were a bit more of a traditional kind of psychedelic rock band. So we really liked the possibility of it because, you know, I was listening to a lot of electronic stuff anyway. You know, Kraftwerk was I was buying Kraftwerk albums in the 70s and
Right,
stuff.
when
so,
they came out.
and
Okay.
I'd always, you know, the electronic stuff always struck a chord with me, you know.
It was always there for you.
Yeah.
And then Acid House came and...
Well, the acid house thing came along, and it was suddenly it was like synthesizer music became fun. You know, I love the humor in acid house. It was, let's see how silly we can get the synthesizer sounding.
And did
that
you go
appealed
for
to me.
the Goa trip like everybody else in India and got crazy?
The other guy in Eat Static was going to Goa in early 80s. You know.
And got some ideas there from Guagil, or?
No, we actually all our early Static tracks were going out to Goa in like 88, 89. The first tracks we ever did went to Goa, so a lot of the DJs, Raja Ram was playing our stuff in 89, 90.
at the beginning.
So probably a lot of early Static stuff had a big influence on the later Goa sound.
Trance
you know.
stuff, yes, the Goa sound.
Yeah, because we were always trying to make, you know, Acid House was okay, but it was very kind of linear. It was just a kind of one synth and a drum machine, and we're always looking more for the possibilities of layering stuff and, you know, because we had a lot more experience musically, a lot of acid house musicians weren't really musicians.
Of
They were
course,
just
that
someone,
was it. Take a synthesizer and
yeah,
make some
exactly.
music.
We were kind of proper musicians more. So
And you went to do music.
it was nice, sort of exploring all the different layers and possibilities with all the extra stuff on top. You know.
So the
Okay.
first album was out when?
The first album was actually just a cassette. We just started releasing a cassette. We put a cassette out called Prepare Your Spirit, which was a 90-minute cassette. And, you know, we never really sort of thought about making an album. No dance acts were making albums then. It was a very
Yes,
12-inch, it was
Scene.
a 12-inch scene, you know. So we put a cassette out, and because the cassettes were getting everywhere, suddenly people were ringing up for gigs. And, you know, even when we were playing a lot of the big raves, when all the big raves started
Yes.
happening, we were always sort of kind of a bit dismayed, really, because all the other acts that were on the same bill were all sort of jumping around miming to dats.
Yes.
And
And
we
you
were
playing.
turning up with the whole studio, setting everything up, and sort of, you know, having things going wrong on stage.
Yes.
But having that edge live always kind of gave the live act. It made every gig was different. You know, it didn't
course,
sound like the same thing. And a lot of the other people were just turning up with a DAT player of like the one club hit they'd had and
Yes,
miming
playing
about.
and the
It's much more
singer.
challenging, I think, also for an
Yeah.
artist to make like a new thing each time.
Exactly. Well, because that was again probably because of our experience with Osrix. Osric Tentacles was really going on stage and jamming for 2 or 3 hours. We
Yes.
didn't really have that much
Nothing planned before
written.
or
No,
anything.
no, we were used to kind of jamming. So
And
I
let-
wanted to transfer that into the Eat Static thing. And to jam electronic music was quite an exciting thing for me.
And let's remind the listeners, so you come in, Ozric Tentacles are playing in Israel on
They're
Friday.
playing Friday.
And you're warming up
I'm doing
and playing with them, right?
Eat Static DJ set either side of the Osrix. Yeah.
So there
Oh,
wasn't like a fight or anything when you both parted from Osric Tentacles. Like,
No. We're all really old friends, you know. And we still work together, you know. There's a track on the new Eat Static album that's a collaboration with the Osrix, you know. So we still do the odd thing together. I've played on there. The last Osric Tentacles album I did, there's an Eat Static collaboration with them. So we still work together occasionally, you know.
What
But
should we
it's-
listen to now?
Well, the first track you played was one of our first ever tracks. The next one, I think, is Almost Human. This was actually the very first 12-inch we pressed.
All right.
So again, very old, but it was the kind of first 12-inch we did, and it was, you know, it sold out in about 3 days. We pressed 1,000, and it
How
went
many?
in 3
1,000?
days. Yeah.
nice. Okay.
Okay, let's listen to it.
Yeah. Okay, we're back. So you're like 17 years
Yes, something like that.
a group, and how is it? Like, it's the longest relationship you probably had with someone,
Yeah, it actually feels like a marriage now.
and a good one probably.
A good marriage, yeah. We kind of read each other really well.
You
and,
have like 10 babies or even more.
Not quite that bad, but we do, we know exactly, we don't even have to talk to each other on stage. We've got really good communication. We know exactly.
You understand.
Yeah, and his keyboard playing is like, I've never heard anything like it. He's a unique synth player, Joey. He bought his first synthesizer in 1975, and he's still using the same synth.
Whoa.
You know, it's fallen to pieces, but it is the Eat Static sound comes from this synthesizer, you know.
When you perform, what do you usually use? What's on stage?
We've got a few synthesizers, sampler, and the main thing really is all coming from hard disks now, because I never really trust laptops. I don't like the sounds. A lot of people are just using laptops and playing stereo
That's the
files.
live of now, all the trance artists, they just put a
Yeah.
laptop and they press buttons and then it looks
No,
like
I
they're
like
doing
a bit
something.
of, no, we've got everything separate. Everything's all separate, all channels, and it means it gives me scope to change stuff. It's, when you're playing all the time and gigging all over the world, it's like I would get really bored just playing
The same thing,
things.
yes.
That's
So every static
every
gig
static
is
gig,
different.
every time we play tracks, we kind of the longer a track's been in the set, the more crazy it usually gets. It's like because you're used to it, and it's like we just like to have fun on stage. Really, we're not just there to do a job. We're up there because we're having a laugh and having fun. We enjoy it.
And how much time do you usually play? How long is a gig?
2.5 hours, something like that.
And it's usually in parties?
Yeah,
Psytrance parties?
anything from a small club up to a huge rave.
Right.
We've played to 50 people up to 50,000 people.
And what do you prefer, like outdoor parties or club parties or?
Both really. I mean, because we're in England, obviously the indoor gigs are better because it's warmer.
Yeah.
But when we're abroad, yeah, we love it. I mean, the sound outdoors, you can't beat the sound outside.
And the view, of course.
And the view, especially, places like Samathraki Festival was fantastic. Solstice Festival last year was great. Yeah, it's always nice when you got a view,
Yeah. Okay, and you have a lot of collaborations with
Lots of
many
projects.
artists.
Yeah.
Want to tell us of
A
some
bit
of
about
them?
them?
Like your favorite ones?
Well,
We won't tell, it's
I
okay.
haven't necessarily got a favourite, but I mean, I like the diversity really, like, everything from, I'm doing sort of the harder sort of experimental trance stuff with Simon Posford from Hallucinogen. Right,
And that is called Metal Show. right?
yeah, and then recently I've just finished a project with the Propeller Heads, that's the Flexi Tones, which is a lot more in the sort of funky sort of 70s, 60s, 70s sort of kitsch film,
Okay.
like spy
Like Propeller
film.
Heads do.
Yeah, like what
a bit
Propeller Heads
similar.
do, but a little bit sort of a bit more crazier,
Of course.
and then I do like a more synthesizer, more of a chilled synthy thing with one of the guys from Tangerine Dream, which is Hi-Fi Companions. And then I got a project with Xavier Morel from Juno Reactors DJ. That's a
Right.
lot more sort of darker techno.
What's the name of that one?
MX Experiment.
MX Experiment.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have your own solo project, which is called Dendrum,
Dendron,
right?
yeah, that's more my sort of, that's kind of like sort of dark breakbeat drum and bass sort of stuff. I used to sort of, I tried doing all the different styles with Eat Static, but the trouble with me, I try and please everyone, and when you play for 2 hours live, people start getting confused. It's like, well, why didn't you play more trance, or can we have more drum and bass? In the end, I thought it's far easier just to separate everything, and so Eat Static's much more back to its kind of banging sort of trance roots now, and I'm Dendron's really for me to get out the sort of the breakbeat side and stuff. So
And what about vocals, which is really popular these days in trance? Have you thought about, because you don't have so much vocals also
No.
in Eat Static?
a lot of the Eat Static vocals are either like sort of funny stuff from we love the old sci-fi B movies, like old alien films and stuff. There are some future collaborations planned. Robert Smith said he wants to do a collaboration with us, because I read an interview with The Cure in America, and he said Eat Static was one of his favourite bands. So
Really, that's good.
I've been in touch
But
with
he
them.
didn't tell you that in person. Or...
No, I read it in an interview, and then I got in touch with their management, and he's well up for it. And also, I mean, the new Eat Static album, I was going to kind of do that, go more with the vocalist thing, but it just happened. We've done so many parties and gone back to this more of the trancey roots lately that I just wanted to make the new album a bit more of a banging dance album, and then I think I'm going to do more the vocally thing as the next project, you know.
You're gonna let us hear a bite from that album later on, right?
Yeah, I've got a couple of new things from the new album here as well, yeah.
What should we listen to now?
This one is actually a recent track I did with Simon Posfer called Balloon Dance.
So this is Metal Sharon,
Yeah.
which you told us is like the journal name of the English bimbo.
Yeah, this is kind of Eat Static
It's
meets
like,
hallucinogen, you know.
Ordal
Yeah.
in Hebrew or something.
Yeah, I think Metal Mickey with a skirt.
Okay.
Okay, so let's have a listen.
I'm here to discuss the so-called flying saucer.
About your strange experience the other night when you saw the flying saucer.
Okay, so of course we gotta ask you, what's with the aliens?
It's something that's been there since I was about 4 or 5 years old. Really, it was. I used to see all these old B movies and stuff when I was a kid, and I was just always obsessed with flying saucers.
All right. And have you
And then
ever
I met
seen?
well, I met Joey, the other guy, when I joined Osrix. I met Joey, and he was always really into it as well. And by then we were sort of. We both really hit it off on that. It was more the sort of crop circles and all that kind of, we were both reading a lot of conspiracy books and stuff. But in actual fact, in 1978, when I was only 12 years old, that was when I saw my first crop circle. There's a place near where I live in England. It's a huge sort of man-made hill. And there was this rumour going around the school playground that aliens had landed last night and left marks in the field,
So you went there to see.
So I
You had to
cycled
check
over
it.
it. Yeah, I rode over there on my bike, and sure enough, there was a sort of the first crop circle I ever saw, which was a huge ring with kind of 4 small circles. And when I first met Joey, when Eat Static first started, we were every summer going and checking out all the crop circles and stuff.
They appear like every summer all around.
Every summer, yeah, and not just in England, all around the world,
course.
and not just in corn. There's been stuff in sort of different materials in sand and stuff. But it was just interesting because you'd go to these crop circles and you'd bump into sort of Japanese scientists and. All these
Which they also look pretty much aliens.
Well, that's
You
what I
gotta
mean.
confess.
You turn up and there's these guys walking around in white coats and stuff, but it was always fascinating, and we did have one experience coming home from a gig a few years back when we were driving back and it was 6 in the morning. We were going over a place called Salisbury Plain, which is where all the army bases are and stuff, and I don't know what goes on in the army bases, but we were driving along, and the cars, we were in 2 separate cars, and both cars, all the electrics went down. We were literally 20 minutes from our house. Both cars stopped. because I knew Joey's car was about a mile behind, I stopped and got out, and I looked up, and there was a huge craft floated towards us, completely silent, light spinning round, and it stayed there for 30, 40 seconds, and then just moved off, you know.
So no anal intrusions or something like that?
No rectal probes,
Okay.
nothing like
That's
that.
good.
You know, I was a bit gutted about it. You could have at least took us up inside, but no,
Yeah.
they floated off.
For some samples, you know, they can get
Well,
great
yeah,
samples
exactly,
of there.
exactly. It would have been great for some samples, but you know, we spend our life kind of making those kind of sounds anyway. They must have, something could have happened for all I know. I've had a couple of strange marks appear on my body since, so who knows?
What they did.
But the car started after that, and it was quite frightening actually at the time. You know,
And then you met each other and explained to each other that you've seen the same thing or something?
Well, Joey drove past. I tried to stop him. He thought I was just someone trying to flag him down, pointing to a UFO. But the next day we spoke to each other, and we'd seen the same thing. He'd actually been. He turned round to drive back to have a look at it, and he was more frightened than me actually.
So what should we listen to now?
This track, that was Primitive Earthlings. This next track is the one I mentioned. I was working with Xavier Morel earlier, because Eleanor said she wanted something a bit darker, so this is
Yes.
Neutralizing
I like.
Agent. Good.
Okay, let's hear it.
blast off on the most fabulous voyage ever conceived by the human mind.
Okay, we're back again. And I have a question for you, because I read that you made like a soundtrack for a movie or something.
I've done 2 or 3, not the whole soundtrack, but just there's been a few tracks recently on a couple of movies. There's one in an independent film in Canada, and also some German film students recently used some stuff on their sort of degree, you know. And also, we did a computer game about 3 or 4 years ago called Conquest Earth, which again was another aliens against the human race thing. Yeah.
You should totally go for PlayStation 2. They have a lot
No,
of...
we just had a track on Gran Turismo 4. There's an E-static track on there. Yeah.
Okay, very, very nice. And we have now שחף. שחף שוורץ. שלום, מה המצב? אז מעולה. אתה רוצה לספר לנו מה הולך להיות ביום שישי הזה?
כמובן, יום שישי הקרוב יש בברבי הופעה של האוזריק טנטקלס. הופעה מעולה.
אוקיי.
ומאוד מומלצת, ומומלץ להגיע.
שמרב הולך לנגן לפני, אחרי, מה?
מרב הולך לנגן קצת לפני, וכמובן גם להשתתף במופע.
מגניב, אז זה הולך להיות מופע ארוך, אתה אומר.
נכון, מופע מיוחד לרגל 25 שנה שהאוזריק קיימים.
אוקיי, נשמע
So what should
מעולה.
we look forward from you on Friday, Mel?
Depends what they let me play, really. You know,
You're the boss, I think. You can
I
play
think,
what you want.
What I normally do is just turn up and see what the crowd are like. You know,
Right.
I don't like planning anything. It's just see what the vibe is on the night. I mean, I've got so many different styles of stuff. I'll see what the sort of crowd seem to want that night and go from there. Really, you know.
Okay.
Hopefully, knowing the Israelis, it'll just be crazy mayhem. You know.
Yes, it will be.
Okay, and I have a last question. What kind of music style will you never play? That you don't like and you will never play?
Oh, that's a good one. God, I don't know. That's a difficult one. I don't know, because we've kind of almost done them all, really. I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Okay,
I
so
don't
on
know.
Friday, let me know what's your answer. Okay.
Yeah, God, you've stunned me now. Probably Greek music, because that's all I've been listening to this week, thanks to Moshe, my father-in-law, has just been playing Greek music all week, so I'll probably never play any Greek music.
Okay, cool. Well
So we found
noted.
one.
Okay, so everybody in Israel, we really wish you that you should go to this show, and we wish you good luck on
Great,
the
thanks a
Friday
lot.
show. It was really, really nice to have you here.
Thanks a
תודה
lot.
רבה שחף for everything, תודה רבה ברק.
תודה רבה, אלינור.
אז שלכולם יהיה לילה רע ביותר. יאללה ביי.
מרב פפלר מאיצטטיק.
Shalom.
ביי. אתה מתחיל להתעורר לאט לאט, וכשהקיש באצבעותיי תחזור למקום שהיית מקודם. 1, 2, 3.